Resources Minister Matt Canavan has told Sky News Australia needs to develop its own oil resources to ensure fuel security amid growing tensions in the Middle East. Drone strikes on Saudi Arabian soil assets have raised concerns about Australia's fuel reserves and our reliance on the Persian Gulf for our oil supplies.
The damage is still being counted after suspected Iranian drone strikes on Saudi Arabian oil assets. The tension in the Middle East is raising questions about Australia's reliance on the Gulf for our oil supplies and our low domestic fuel reserves.
We've got roughly on average about 40 days, and look, we've got ability to source oil from a variety of countries around the world, so there's no imminent risk.
But Resources Minister Matt Canavan says Australia needs to be developing our own oil resources.
On the eve of September 11, 20 years ago, we produced enough petroleum, raw petroleum, to meet almost all our needs, 96% of our needs. Today, the figure is less than 50%.
Senator Canavan pointed to the United States, which is on track to become a net exporter of oil following a decade-long fracking boom.
Look at what's happened in the US. 10, 15 years ago, the US was the largest net importer of oil in the world. In the next few years, they're likely to be a net oil exporter for the first time in more than 50 years. That is all due to this amazing technological developments in extracting shale oil and shale gas.
He says a drop-off in production in the Bass Strait and Northwest Shelf could be offset by onshore oil development in the Northern Territory.
The Beetaloo Basin in the Northern Territory is the first shale opportunity in Australia, first major one. And it's great that it's here in the Territory for you guys, but it's also of a national interest in my view. Given what's happened in the US, we should also be seeking to apply similar technologies here as well.
Despite our oil security risks, any move to develop onshore oil resources is likely to be met with stiff opposition from environmentalists who want the government to shift its focus away from fossil fuels. Last Friday, hundreds of thousands of people turned out at climate strikes around the country, but Senator Canavan says their views don't reflect the opinions of most Australians.
The protesters out there are still only a very small part of the Australian electorate. As we saw at the federal election, there was a whole lot of controversy over things like Adani and coal. When people actually go and vote, as the Prime Minister says, and he's right, there's a whole lot of quiet Australians out there who aren't marching in the streets.
Matt Canavan, Sky News, Darwin.